The Resident Evil fandom is definitely an interesting bunch to say the least. Spend long enough time within it, and you'll see all kinds of colorful characters, ranging from normal people that you could easily have a conversation with, some that blur the lines depending on the situation and topic, and others that you'll do your damnedest to avoid at all costs. But if you are someone who is new, you're not quite acquainted with it, or maybe you are a longtime fan and you can understand this, picture a gigantic lake, like the one we're staring at right now. Now imagine there are 50 subgroups within this one lake. 2 of them are normal, ones of people that have normal conversations, can talk about lots of things, know what they like, know what they don't like, but never take anything personal. But the other 48 groups within this whole pond, oh boy. If you say or even imagine or even breathe the wrong thing at any point in time, well, my friend, you're basically going to get swallowed whole. That's the Resident Evil fandom that I ultimately know, especially on the internet. And by the way, off topic here, but my nephew was younger. He had no idea about this game, and I kind of goaded him into shooting the water and having that Del Lago basically scar him for life. Does that make me a bad uncle? I'll let you guys decide. What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some more Resident Evil content. And today I'm going to have a little fun with this video. As I tried to state out in the intro, I'm going to be talking about a lot of fans that are definitely colorful characters and people or kinds of people that you probably have encountered at some point in time being a part of this fandom. Ones that have either annoyed you, maybe made you laugh and out insane some of them act, and just have a little fun, because I'm pretty sure every single person has encountered some variation of this, but this list is by no means complete. So let me know in the comment section what you feel didn't make the list, because just because I'm picking 5 doesn't mean there's only 5. There's probably tons of versions of it, but I'm going to have a little fun here, so try not to take it too serious. But without further ado, let's get into this. But as I said, let me know down below anything you would have had on the list that didn't quite make it. So let's get into it. My first one, at number 5. I'm pretty sure all of us encountered this type of person here. And this is the type of person that you'll be in a conversation, maybe you and another person or a bunch of people join in, and you're all talking about Resident Evil. And all of a sudden, maybe you or someone else in the conversation doesn't say something that's 100% correct. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some individual in the conversation just starts losing their mind, losing their shit, and getting mad, cussing you out, telling you how dare you not get every single solitary detail right, 100% correct. How do you not know every single possible thing? Like, who the hell do you think you are? That is what I like to call the lore whore. Yeah, the lore whore is basically someone who, Resident Evil is basically their Bible, their dictionary, and they live off of it. They know more about Resident Evil and its history, more than their own history, or their own family, friends, anything else that goes on in their life. Resident Evil is basically in their blood, in their DNA. It's being pumped into them IV daily. And if you are not 100,000 million% correct at all times, you are a part of the problem and you gotta go. I think we've all encountered a lore whore at one point, but that would be the first one at number 5. Number 4 is one that's definitely iconic in Resident Evil fandom, definitely. I think more specific in the Resident Evil fandom, because I don't know if any fandom gets more anal about this than the Resident Evil fandom. But if there is, let me know in the comment section. I always like to learn things. So one of the most interesting parts about Resident Evil is the fact that it has a lot of different ways you can play Resident Evil. You can play the Resident Evil classic way, with fixed camera angles. You could play kind of mid-air, over the shoulder. Or you could play in first person. And I think it's an excellent thing that Resident Evil has excelled at 3 different perspectives. Unfortunately, there are those that basically live and die off of a certain perspective. It's not a problem that everyone has a preference when it comes to perspective, but these people, oh no, 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 no. That's too simple for them. When it comes to the perspective, You either like the perspective they do, or, well, game over, man. Game over. These are what I like to call perspective pricks at number 4. And these are people that if you even say you like a certain camera angle and it's not their favorite, you're part of the problem, and you basically got to off yourself. You got to take yourself out of the fandom immediately, or you basically have to renounce everything you know and love, because it's their way or the highway, and you ain't got nothing. And if you don't concede to their perspective of the camera, as I said, it's over for you. There's nothing else you can do. You might as well just, admit you don't know what you're talking about, admit you're an idiot, and, just basically go throw yourself against a wall. Perspective pricks, as I said, is just something very unique to the Resident Evil fandom. Maybe one day I'll tell you one of my ultimate hot takes about the perspective if you're curious about which one I like the most, because it might not be the answer you guys expect, but I'm going to keep silent about it because I don't want to get canceled by the rest of the fandom. But nonetheless, that is number 4, perspective pricks. For the third one, now this is definitely common in any fandom, but once again, you see a lot of it too in the Resident Evil fandom. Resident Evil has a lot of cool, interesting characters that have been famous, whether since their introduction in the first one or the second one, or vice versa. Now, obviously, the most famous and popular characters would be the Leons, the Jills, the Adas, the Chris's, the Claires, the Weskers. I think it's safe to say they're the top 6, or hell, even maybe the Steves. Maybe not too many Steves. Maybe one day. You never know. But everyone has their favorite character. Mine is Ada for preference sake. Nothing wrong with having a favorite character overall. I mean, only one can be one. But some people take their favorites way too serious. And these are individuals that need to understand something. That these characters are not real. They're not real. They don't exist. They're just video game fictional characters. These are the people I like to call character fanatics. Basically, individuals that if you do not praise and worship the character they love the most, you are a part of the problem. Some people go as far as to try to dress up like them, look like them, emulate their everyday life, and just constantly search the internet for everyone and what they post. And if you post anything about the other opposing characters, well, my friends, you have a problem. You see this a lot with Chris and Leon fans in terms of having some type of competition over who's better and something like that. I'm just like, you like what you like, you dislike what you dislike, or maybe you like something a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I personally don't care. It's not a competition because it's a video game. I'm here to play the video game for my entertainment. I'm not competing against anybody. It's not like I'm competing for the Super Bowl or the World Series or the World Cup or something like that. I'm playing a survival horror video game. It's not a competition, but to these guys, it's a competition because someone has to be the best, and that's the problem. That's where the fanaticism comes in, and at this point, as soon as you see people like this talking about that, just leave the conversation immediately because it's a no-win conversation. There's no winning or losing. It's just wasting your time, and if you had all that time, why not just use it to play the actual game instead of just using it to waste your time over having some meaningless debate of who's better and why your favorite character is the best? I personally don't care because, as I said, all that stuff is subjective, but character fanatics, avoid them like the plague. My next one, at number 2. Now, this is something that is definitely very unique to the Resident Evil fandom. Not that it's only in the Resident Evil fandom, but this whole type of fan has been here since, I'd say, Resident Evil 4, the original one, which gives you kind of a hint where I'm going with this. And once again, having a preference in what you like is never a problem. That's never the issue. The problem here is the fact that people can't, at the end of the day, respect that not everyone's going to think like them and like everything that they like. So whenever they see something different, it gets them mad. And this debate has been going on, as I said, since Resident Evil 4. I personally like to call this old school, new school bullshit. What do I mean by that? You have the whole long-term debate of what's better, the old school days of Resident Evil or the new school days of Resident Evil. And these are the type of fans who spend more time crying in the debate section than actually playing the so-called games they like. And once again, it's not a problem to say, why you like one or prefer one side over the other and give your preferences. That's fine. But I always have this theory that a lot of these people, at the end of the day, it's not the fact that they have a preference. It's the fact that they always have to search up a fight. It's like they want to find someone that doesn't agree with them. And by the way, guys, you tell me what happens here, okay? So I'm standing here. I'm waiting for Dr. Salvatore, right? What the hell just hit me? I know, sorry to cut me off like that, but like I was trying, it caught me so off guard that Salvatore almost like came right in here and just basically iced me up. But Grandma comes in from the back door, nice strat there, just whoops my ass. But yeah, I didn't know what the hell just hit me there. But anyway, getting back on topic, old school, new school. You have the old school fans since then thinking that anything past the old days of Resident Evil is not Resident Evil. And once again, nothing wrong with that. And then you have the new school fans thinking, hey, I don't want to start looking at stuff from the old days. I like the newer stuff better. You also got the fans in the middle who, I guess, they go over the place because you want to be fair. Resident Evil kind of has 3 different eras at this point. But my point still stands. Not having having a preference is not a problem. It's when people honestly just got to find the people that don't like the same thing as they do, and they just lose their mind. They lose their shit, and they can't stand it. They can't fathom someone else liking the other side that they don't like as much or possibly hate. And that's my whole biggest problem. Like, if I was an old school fan, right, and I like the old school better than the new stuff, I don't like the new stuff, what would I do? I would just play the old stuff. Maybe I might give a mention or notice to some of the new stuff, but if I really didn't care that much, I wouldn't waste my time nonstop finding everyone who likes the new school stuff and saying how much they suck and they're a problem, and vice versa the other way. If I was a new school fan, didn't care about the old school stuff at all, I would just focus on playing the new school stuff and wouldn't focus on searching up all the people who like the old school stuff and say they're a part of the problem. Why am I going to waste my time when I can use that time to play the games instead? I'd rather be playing the games, not talking about the stuff that I hate for the last 10 years, 20 years, however long it is, in whatever group you fall into. I just rather not waste my time and use it more efficiently. But these people, as I said, it's like they have to search up every person that doesn't feel the same way they do, and they have to do a whole investigation. Like there's some, I don't know, Terminator set from the future, and they got to analyze all the different protocols of why you got to this point, where you've been, where you live, where you're born. I'm just like, it's not that big of a deal. But to these people, oh boy, it is a huge deal for them. Which leads me to my last one, and number 1. And I'm going to be very, very honest with you guys right now. This one scares me more than anything else. I think it's the worst thing that's plagued, for instance, here's a little hint, that's plagued the Final Fantasy VII fandom. A little hint on what it might be. But this thing, I think, is a problem in every single fandom. And I swear, if anybody starts even remotely discussing this to a degree, it always makes me leery. Not that I think that everyone who discusses it, there's something wrong with them. It's not. But it's always the crazy ones, and it seems to be so many crazy ones that put me at unease, whenever I hear it. So what is it? What is the number 1 type of crazy Resident Evil fan? Well, you're looking at it. Get it? It's a ship. Shippers. Oh boy, the shippers. The shipping fanatics. If you don't know what shipping is or what a shipper is, I envy you because I wish I could be like you. But, oh my God, this thing puts me in a bad, foul move automatically. If I even see any type of debate at all, it always makes me want to leave immediately. I mean, for every solid conversation you have about this, you have 99 more that delve into the biggest blood-infested wars. You would think both parties, or maybe all 3 or 4, how many parties involved, obviously have bad blood with each other personally, and someone like beat up their own family members, because that's how serious shipping gets. But basically, shippers or individuals, to break it down in simple terms, are those who try to put 2 characters in a romantic, setting together with each other in a relationship or whatnot. Sometimes it's 2 people, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's an object or a person or 2 objects. It gets real freaky after a while. But we'll just stick to the normal one, like 2 characters. And usually when you have 2 characters, they'll put them together in some cute pet name. Like, for instance, if you have Ada and Leon, that's Aeon. If you're Claire Leon, it's Cleon. I think Chris and Jill is Valenfield, but you get the point. Now, once again, that doesn't seem like it's so bad, but it's the ones that are fanatic about this stuff, that live and breathe this stuff. They are the ones, I'll tell you this right now, you avoid like the plague. You'll be running faster from these shippers than you ever will from the Nemesis, because at least the Nemesis, he'll just kill you. These shippers, you'll wish you were dead. Oh my goodness. This is their whole life, and it affects every fandom, whether game, show, movie, etc. If the characters they ship are not 100% shown at all times, and they aren't used at all times, they lose their mind. And God forbid if another character even stands in the vicinity near one of the opposing characters they want to ship or not, or even, God forbid, has a conversation or does anything, oh my God, it is the living end. And they will develop into a rage and filled thing that will turn into insults, death threats. They lose their everlasting mind. And I've always said this personally, all right, with these shippers, if, they're so psychotic about a fictional relationship, just imagine how they deal with a real life relationship. Just think about that for a second. The ones you see on the internet that they post 20,000 things a day about their favorite pairing or whatnot, and they'll tell you how they hate the other pairing to all ends, and they'll lose their mind. They're on the internet more than anything else. But just imagine how they deal with their real life relationship with like their family or friends or spouse or whoever. Oh my God, that's a scary thought. That's why, at the very least, I only see what they post, because I damn well do not want to see how they live, because that is a scary, scary thing. I mean, good God. And a lot of wars and ships have been sunk, metaphorically and real at the same time, because, man, it is absolutely just mind-numbing why this is such a thing. Like, once again, as I said before, I do like my dynamics and certain relationships within fiction, but I've never gone so crazy into thinking that, oh my God, it's be all to end on this whole thing. And if it doesn't happen, or God forbid other characters have conversations with someone, it is not the living end of the world. Like, it's not that big idea. And not to mention, sticking with Resident Evil, Resident Evil is a survival horror game. Okay? It is not some soap opera drama or something like that. I like a lot of characters. I mean, just a little personal thing here, like, Ada is my all-time favorite Resident Evil character, and yes, obviously I like her dynamic with her and Leon, but to be fair, I like her as a character more than just her dynamic with other characters or in a romantic way. I kind of just like her to be cool and shown to be a cool character, and, I wouldn't really care too much about the whole Leon thing did or did not. It's not a big deal to me. But even if I did love it so much to a degree, I'm not going to lose my mind if it happens. I'm not going to lose my mind if it doesn't happen. It is what it is. I'm trying to play a survival horror game to have fun and be entertained and have some cool, horror moments, some cool, fun gameplay segments, and maybe some cool character moments. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to lose my mind over something like that. I got enough problems trying to deal with real life relationships than to lose it over ones that aren't real. But hopefully I made that point clear. Yeah, shipping, it's one of the biggest reasons, me personally, why I've been very hesitant to really interact with any fandom, honestly, because even when you're not even trying to talk about that, it always gets involved in things that have nothing to do with it. And it seems like to be the number one conversation in so many things, when I just want to have cool, interesting conversations. Like, I wouldn't mind talking about things like that if people didn't lose their mind. And now that you know the parties involved that you're talking with, it's probably not a good idea to just talk about it all. Just avoid it. It'll give you one less migraine and headache from hell. But hopefully I had a little fun with this list. Hopefully you guys did too. Let me know what you would put in there, or if you agree with some of my list. What type of fan would you have thought should have made the list? As I said, that's my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. But nonetheless, that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. And hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.